Prakash and Tripura's wedding is abruptly stopped when Harini arrives with the police and has Prakash arrested, revealing him as a fraud. Though Harini acts to save Tripura, she is misunderstood and blamed by everyone in the hostel. Isolated by the warden, she is forced to live separately and endure humiliation, hunger, and loneliness. Only Vaishnavi stands by her, supporting her through emotional struggles. Tripura, unable to accept the truth, curses Harini in anger. Despite everything, Harini remains strong, though deeply affected. During this difficult phase, Mahadev, an IPS officer, enters her life. He brings her unexpected happiness by celebrating her birthday and showing kindness, helping her momentarily forget her pain. However, due to strict hostel rules and fear of further trouble, Harini distances herself from Mahadev despite his growing feelings. Misunderstandings lead to conflict, but eventually Mahadev respects her boundaries and walks away. Months pass and Harini returns home to Chennai after exams. Reuniting with her loving parents brings her comfort, though she hides her struggles to protect them. Her father feels guilty for sending her away due to astrological beliefs, but Harini reassures him with love and gratitude. As she prepares to return to Hyderabad, her life remains filled with silent sacrifices, emotional strength, and unresolved relationships, showing her resilience despite constant hardships. Suddenly, all the strength she had been holding collapsed. "Dad, how will I stay a whole year without seeing you?" she cried. Her voice trembled. Prasad Rao couldn't control himself either. Tears rolled down silently. He placed a gentle kiss on her forehead. "Go carefully, dear," he whispered. Passengers nearby watched the emotional scene quietly. One lady passenger, sitting opposite, asked in Tamil, "Where are you going, child?" Harini replied softly, "We are Telugu people, auntie. I'm going till Hyderabad." "Oh good," the woman said kindly. "Don't worry. I'll keep an eye on her." Prasad Rao folded his hands politely. "Please, just make sure she's safe." Then he stepped down from the train. The whistle blew. The train slowly began to move. Harini stood at the door, tears blurring her vision. Her father stood on the platform until he became smaller and disappeared. The unexpected delay. Midway through the journey, due to a goods train derailment on the same track, their train had to stop for hours. Passengers grew restless. The train finally resumed after a long delay. By the time it reached Secunderabad station, it was midnight. Almost all the passengers got down in Hyderabad. Harini, exhausted from crying and lack of sleep, had dozed off in her seat. Suddenly, my God, she woke up with a jolt. The train had stopped. She looked around. The compartment was nearly empty. Panic rushed through her. She quickly grabbed her bag and rushed toward the door. Stepping down onto the dimly lit platform, she looked around anxiously. The station felt unusually quiet. And just then, she noticed someone walking across the platform in the distance. That's when Saira approached her. "I'm sorry, Harini. I slept too. Otherwise, I would have woken you." She smiled politely. "Come home with me tonight. It's not safe here." Harini hesitated. Midnight. Empty platform. No familiar faces. She had no choice. She quietly got into Saira's car. "Thank you so much," Harini said sincerely. Saira chuckled lightly. "Come on, how can I leave a girl alone at this hour? Haven't you heard what happened in Delhi?" Harini nodded slowly. "I remember. It was a deeply disturbing incident. Something that should never happen to any girl." The car moved forward into the silent night. Crescent moon the ride. All along the way, Saira kept talking nonstop. Random stories, small gossip, unnecessary details. Her voice filled the silence. Harini tried to stay awake, but exhaustion, the emotional goodbye, the long train delay, sleep slowly overpowered her. Noticing this, Saira said gently, "It's okay, you sleep. I'll wake you when we reach." Harini's eyes closed, warning the sudden awakening. About half an hour later, for no clear reason, Harini suddenly opened her eyes. The road outside looked unfamiliar. Dark. Deserted. No streetlights. Syra, where are you taking me? By now we should have reached home, right? Her voice carried quiet suspicion. No reply. The car turned into a completely isolated area and stopped. Harini's heart began to pound. Within seconds, men emerged from the darkness. One by one, nearly 14 of them. They surrounded the car. Before she could react, the door was yanked open. A rough hand grabbed her arm and pulled her out. Then, from within the group, someone stepped forward slowly. Harini's breath froze. It was Prakash, the same burning anger in his eyes. She tried desperately to break free, but she couldn't move. Prakash stood in front of her. Hey, who are you? What are you doing? She screamed. Another man twisted her arms behind her back. She struggled, but they were too strong. Then, from within the group, someone stepped forward slowly. Harini's breath froze. It was Prakash, the same burning anger in his eyes. She tried desperately to break free, but she couldn't move. Prakash stood in front of her. You interfered in my matter, he shouted. Because of you, I lost 10 locks. Because of you, I spent 3 months being beaten, living in filth, surviving like an animal. In a sudden burst of rage, he struck her across the arm with a knife. She screamed in pain. He punched her hard in the stomach. The impact knocked the air out of her lungs. She collapsed to her knees, struggling to breathe. The men laughed quietly around her. Snake the betrayal. Prakash then turned toward Syra. How did you manage to bring her here? Perfect timing. At this hour, we can do anything no one will even know. How did you plan this? Syra stepped forward calmly. No guilt, no fear. There's nothing special, she said casually. I kept track of when she left for Chennai and when she would return. Harini's eyes widened. I checked the AC second-class coach chart, expecting she would come back around this time. I saw her name and went and sat beside her. She smirked. Like handing over a goat to a tiger without knowing its fate, her father unknowingly handed her over to me. Harini's world shattered. The woman who spoke kindly, who offered safety, who gained her father's trust, was the trap. Tears mixed with pain. Fear surrounded her from all sides. Darkness felt closer than ever. And in that terrifying moment, Harini realized something. This wasn't random revenge. This was planned. Cold. Calculated. Deadly. Prakash said, I will take revenge on her for myself, and while Harini was crying holding her stomach, Prakash grabbed her by the hair and lifted her up. It hurts. Please leave me. Harini cried and pleaded. For this small pain you're trembling like this? The pain that is coming will be much more terrifying, he said, addressing the group. Hey, what are you all watching? Go ahead and enjoy her, he said and pushed Harini towards them. Each of their faces looked frightening. Some of them were looking at her like a tiger staring at a helpless deer. There was no chance to escape. They surrounded her like a loop. Harini's life felt like it was slipping away in fear. Harini wrapped her arms tightly around Syra's legs, holding on like it was the last anchor keeping her alive. The gang members tried to pull her away. Drag her off, one of them shouted. They pulled hard. Because Harini was gripping so tightly, Syra lost balance and almost fell. Annoyed and frustrated, the men grabbed sticks lying nearby and began striking Harini's back and shoulders, not to injure her fatally, but to force her to let go. She cried out. Her voice echoed once, then dissolved into the empty darkness of that abandoned place. Blow after blow landed, but she didn't loosen her grip. Her body trembled. Her breathing became uneven. Yet her hands remained locked. It wasn't just fear now. It was determination. If she let go, she knew something far worse awaited her. Syra's face hardened. The men were getting impatient. This is getting out of control, one of them muttered. Then Syra did something cruel and calculated. She snatched a cigarette from one of the men. Without hesitation, she pressed it close to Harini's skin, just enough to shock her. The sudden sting broke Harini's focus. Her grip weakened for a split second. And that was enough. The men pulled her away. Harini collapsed to the ground, gasping, shaking, but still conscious. Still fighting. Cyrus' eyes burned with anger. How dare you try to outsmart me, she snapped. Do you think if you cling to my legs, no one will touch you? You think you can manipulate me? She shoved Harini away harshly. Harini cried out, clutching her stomach. Cyrus stepped forward again, raising her foot as if to strike once more. Through tears, Harini looked up at her. You're a woman. Don't you know how painful it is? She sobbed. I have never harmed you. Why are you doing this to me? Her voice broke into helpless crying. For a brief second, something flickered in Cyrus' expression, but it vanished just as quickly. One of the men laughed nervously. Enough of this drama, he muttered. Cyrus' face hardened again. Don't you dare grab me again, she warned coldly. Then she turned toward the group. What are you all standing there for? She barked. Hold her. The men forced Harini to the ground. They pinned her arms, held her legs. One of them climbed on her and behaved like an animal. Her cry of disgust and pain rose into the air, but nothing answered it. There were no nearby houses, no traffic, no lights, just open land and darkness. The sound didn't echo dramatically. It simply faded. Move back, Cyrus shouted sharply, kicking him away. Prakash stared at her in disbelief. What are you doing? He demanded. Cyrus stood up slowly, brushing dust off her hands. Think, she said coldly. If you destroy her now, what do we gain? The men looked confused. Look at her face, Cyrus continued. For an ordinary girl like Tripura, they offered 5 lakhs. For her, we can get 3 times that. Maybe more. Why waste money out of anger? Prakash's expression shifted from rage to calculation. You're talking about selling her, he said quietly. I'm talking about recovering our losses, Cyrus replied. If we lose control now, we lose everything. What happened? Prakash asked, not understanding. If we ruin her now, there is nothing for us to gain. Don't do anything to her. Let her stay fresh. If many people use her now, she will definitely die. Even if one person uses her, what she has inside will be gone. Let her remain fresh. She'll fetch a high price there. Just look at her face. For a girl like Tripura, he offered 5 lakhs. If we show her, we can easily squeeze 10 times more. Let's recover our losses through her, Cyrus said coldly. Prakash hesitated. The idea is good, but how do we take her? The earlier girls trusted me and came with me to Goa. From there, sending them to Dubai wasn't difficult. But this one? She'll create trouble all the way. If someone sees, I'll be finished. Cyrus smirked. That's not a big problem. Give her chloroform. She'll lie like a dead body the whole way. Every time she wakes up, give her another dose. By the time she fully regains consciousness, she'll already be crushed in the hands of the sheiks. She pulled a syringe out of her pocket. Please, don't do this, Harini begged, her voice shaking. If Tripura hadn't been saved that day, you wouldn't even be standing here, Prakash said harshly. Cyrus stepped forward with the injection. Harini struggled with all her strength, trying to free herself. And then, out of nowhere, a loud slap echoed. Cyrus stumbled back. Mahadev. His eyes were burning with fury. Before anyone could react, he grabbed the iron rod from the ground and struck the man holding Harini's hands. The blow was sudden and brutal. Everyone froze. Harini, run. Get out of here, Mahadev shouted. That scream brought her back to her senses. She ran. One of them tried to chase her. Mahadev hurled the iron rod straight at his head. The man collapsed instantly. Now 10 of them surrounded Mahadev. First deal with him. We'll handle her later, one of them growled. And they lunged at him. The night was about to explode into chaos. For 9 long years, he trained rigorously in Kung Fu. The training had shaped not only his body, but also his reflexes, focus, and courage. So when that night came, facing 10 men, knocking down 6 of them was not something impossible for him. His strikes were sharp, calculated, and powerful. Within moments, 6 of them were unable to get back up. But the remaining 4 were different. They were taller, stronger, heavier. Fighting them was not easy. Mahadev kept battling them with every ounce of strength left in his body. Blow after blow, strike after strike. Even as his muscles screamed in exhaustion, He refused to step back. But the human body has limits. As his energy drained, the four of them seized the opportunity. They surrounded him. The attacks that followed were merciless. Heavy punches, brutal kicks, ruthless blows that landed without pause. Unable to withstand those crushing hits any longer, Mahadev collapsed onto the ground. He was in no condition to get up. One of them said coldly, "Hey, this fellow is out. Now we should find where she is and deal with her." Those words pierced straight into Mahadev's ears. This was not the time to lie down. This was not the time to surrender to pain. This was not the time to lose consciousness. He had to save Harini. Inside his heart, he prayed desperately. God, give me the strength to protect her. Show me the way. I cannot afford even a single moment of delay. Summoning whatever strength remained in his battered body, he forced himself up. Fate seemed to stand by him in that moment. Near his leg, his foot touched something heavy, an iron rod. Without wasting even a second, he grabbed it. With lightning speed, and with a fury born from desperation, he charged at them. He struck their heads, their legs, their necks. Each blow landed with precision and unstoppable force. The attack was so sudden and so fierce that they had no chance to recover. Within minutes, none of them were left standing. Only after ensuring that no one remained capable of harming Harini did Mahadev take out his phone and call the control room. Police forces arrived quickly and took all of them into custody. But Mahadev's mind was not at peace. Where is Harini? He searched frantically. After scanning the surroundings, he finally found her lying unconscious in the bushes. The sight shattered him. Seeing her in that helpless condition made his heart tremble. Without wasting another moment, he lifted her carefully and rushed her to the hospital. The next morning at 6 o'clock, Vaishnavi came to know about the incident. She hurried to the hospital. When she saw Harini lying unconscious on the hospital bed, she couldn't bear it. "What happened, doctor?" she asked anxiously. The doctor replied gravely, "Someone tried to rape your friend. Due to the shock, she developed severe trauma fever. There is also a deep cut on her right hand. We had to stitch it." Fortunately, this young man reached on time. Otherwise, her life would have turned unimaginably tragic. Vaishnavi's heart broke at those words. Seeing Harini in that condition, she suddenly burst into tears. Vaishnavi, who was always stubborn and strong in every situation, was now crying helplessly. Mahadev could not bear to see her like that. "Please, calm down, Vaishnavi. Harini is safe." "Nothing happened to her," he said softly, his own voice trembling as he suppressed his tears. Truthfully, even he could not withstand seeing Harini that way. Both of them stepped into the waiting hall and sat in silence. After some time, Vaishnavi said, "You seem to have stayed here the whole night. Please go and take some rest." "I'll stay here." Mahadev nodded. "All right. Take care of her. I'll come again in the evening. If there's any problem, call me immediately." He left reluctantly. That same evening, he returned. "Harini, wake up once. I brought fruits for you." "You haven't eaten anything since morning," he said gently. "I brought fruits for you." "You haven't eaten anything since morning," he said gently, trying to wake her. She didn't respond. "Harini, you shouldn't sleep on an empty stomach. You'll feel weak. Eat something and then rest," he said again, tapping lightly. Still no response. A wave of anxiety rushed through him. "Harini, open your eyes." "Why aren't you waking up?" he called repeatedly. Just then, a doctor doing rounds entered. "Doctor, she's not opening her eyes." "Please check once," he said in panic. The doctor looked at him calmly. "Mr. Mahadev, don't panic. Nothing serious has happened. She woke up earlier and complained that the stitches were hurting badly. So I administered anesthesia to ease the pain. Why would you think something worse happened? And please, you shouldn't come into the ladies' ward at this time. We are here." Vaishnavi was here till now. She just stepped out for tiffin. "You can come tomorrow morning." Only after hearing that Harini was safe did Mahadev finally breathe properly. "I'm sorry, doctor. I got really scared thinking something happened to her," he said, wiping the tears that had slipped from his eyes. "Don't worry. We're here," the doctor assured. The next morning, Harini, Mahadev has come to see you, Vaishnavi said gently. I don't want to talk to anyone. Tell him to leave, Harini replied irritably. Mahadev stepped forward softly. It's okay, I'll go. How are you feeling now? Suddenly, Harini panicked. Hey, go away. Don't come near me, she shouted in fear. Mahadev froze. Harini, it's me. I'm Mahadev. Your friend. Why are you scared of me? In fear and confusion, Harini grabbed the fruits from the table and threw them at him. Then she climbed onto the bed and covered herself tightly with the blanket. Mahadev stood there, stunned, not understanding what was happening. With no other option, he quietly walked out and sat in the waiting hall. After some time, Vaishnavi joined him. Please don't misunderstand her. I honestly didn't feel bad, Mahadev said. But I've been observing something. You're the only one coming to see Harini. I haven't seen anyone else from your hostel. Don't they know about this? Vaishnavi replied calmly. I didn't tell them. And even if they know, they won't come. Why? Mahadev asked. It's a long story. All this is the trouble she brought upon herself because of her good heart, Vaishnavi said. All right, but what exactly happened? She then asked. Mahadev began explaining. That night, I was driving to Warangal. In a deserted area, my car ran out of fuel. I waited for a long time hoping someone would pass by and help, but no one came. So I decided to spend the night there and wait until morning to get help from any vehicle that passed. I closed all the windows and fell asleep inside the car. Around 2:30 in the night, I woke up to use the restroom. That's when I heard screams from somewhere nearby. I followed those cries. And that's when I saw Harini. Prakash and his gang were about to inject her with something. I reached there just in time and stopped them. After hearing all this, Vaishnavi suddenly became tense. What name did you just say? She asked urgently. Prakash, Mahadev replied. How does he look? She asked quickly. He looks very smart. Around 6 feet tall. Fair complexion. Sharp features. Cat-like eyes. But why are you asking all this? Vaishnavi fell silent for a moment. You just asked why no one from the hostel is coming to see Harini. Indirectly, he is the reason, she said. Mahadev couldn't understand. Vaishnavi then explained everything in detail. Tripura was waiting for a bus to go to college. Suddenly, a police jeep stopped near her. Prakash has been arrested again. ACP sir wants to speak with you regarding this matter. Get into the jeep, a constable told her. What? Prakash has been arrested again? Why? Tripura asked in shock. First, get into the jeep, the constable said firmly. With no other option, Tripura got into the police jeep. Within minutes, she was taken straight to the ACP's office. Inside the office, Mahadev looked at her and asked directly. When Prakash was arrested earlier, you were the one who got him bail, right? Yes, sir, Tripura replied confidently. What exactly is your relationship with him? He asked again. Tripura didn't hesitate. We love each other, sir. We even decided to get married. On our wedding day itself, the police arrested Prakash. After hearing this, Mahadev leaned back and said calmly but seriously, Tripura, you are actually very lucky. Maybe you did some great deed in your past life. That's why you're being protected now. Your lover, Prakash, he is not what you think. He's a fraud. He traps girls in the name of love and sells them abroad. He is part of that gang. If you don't leave him, you are the one who will be destroyed. That day, because Harini informed the police in time and he got arrested, you were saved. Otherwise, by now, you wouldn't even be here. You might have been somewhere in Dubai or trapped in a brothel. Do you understand what I'm saying? But Tripura wasn't ready to believe it. Sir, please don't start again. I know my Prakash. If you brought me here just to tell me this, then thank you for your concern. She said this and stood up to leave. Mahadev immediately stepped in front of her. Wait, just 1 minute. He looked straight into her eyes and said, I have seen many foolish people in this world, but I have never seen someone as blind as you. Then he asked firmly, Tell me something. What do Harini and I gain by separating you and Prakash? I don't know about you, Tripura said firmly. But Harini definitely has her eyes on Prakash. She has been trying to get him somehow. Mahadev listened quietly. Tripura continued. She first tried to create misunderstandings between us. She told me all kinds of things about Prakash so that I would leave him. She wanted to remove me from the middle. But when that didn't work, she went to the police and got him arrested. Now she is trying to weaken him mentally so that he will turn toward her. Tripura's voice became harsher. That Harini, for a man, she will go to any extent. She is that type of woman. Then she added with clear contempt, a characterless woman. For a moment, Mahadev stood silent. Then suddenly, slap. Tripura froze, holding her cheek in shock. Mahadev looked at her and said in a firm voice, I have seen many foolish people, but I have never seen someone as blind as you. He grabbed her wrist. Come with me. Before she could react, he pulled her outside and opened the police jeep. Get in. Tripura, confused and shaken, climbed inside. The jeep moved quickly. About 30 minutes later, it stopped in front of National Hospital. Tripura looked around. Why are we here? Mahadev stepped out and said, You want to defend Prakash, right? Come, I'll show you who he really is. He then led her inside the hospital toward a doctor's room. Doctor, I told you about this girl, didn't I? Said Mahadev. Oh, you mean Tripura? Is it you? The doctor asked. Do you know what narco-analysis is? It's used on the most notorious criminals. They're given an injection. Their thinking power weakens. They can't lie, no matter how much they try. For you, I took a huge risk and used it on Prakash. Whatever truths he speaks now, you listen to them yourself. And with that, Tripura was taken inside the room where Prakash was undergoing narco-analysis. He was lying unconscious on the bed, murmuring something faintly. The doctor tapped his cheeks lightly. What is your name? I don't really have one name. In different places, different people call me by different names, he replied. Who is Prakash? That's me. In every town, I use a different name with a different girl. Do you love Tripura? No. The answer hit like a hammer. Then why did you say you loved her? You were even about to marry her. I lied that I loved her. After marriage, I planned to take her to Goa, then Mumbai, and from there send her to Dubai. Why didn't you? Police arrested me on the wedding day. My whole plan got reversed. How many girls have you sold till now? 5. The doctor looked at Tripura, as if asking, did you hear that? Tripura felt like her entire world was spinning. Those truths, she couldn't digest them. Suddenly, she broke down. I trusted you so much. How could you betray me like this? In uncontrollable anger, she attacked the helpless Prakash. Tripura, stop. Mahadev restrained her. First, you deserve the slap. Harini told you so many times that Prakash wasn't a good man. She begged you. She tried to protect you without caring about herself. But you insulted her. You humiliated her. You hurt her heart. And what did you say earlier? That we're all doing this out of jealousy? That we're trying to separate you both? Listen carefully. For Harini's beauty and character, lots of good men would stand in a queue to marry her. She doesn't need to play such cheap games to get someone. Only when we think cheaply, he said quietly, we assume everyone else is cheap too. Because of you, she is lying in the hospital like a lifeless body. If I hadn't reached there at the right time, her entire life would have been destroyed. And after everything that has happened, after everything you've done, you still don't have to trust me. You can believe that I, Harini, and this whole society are just jealous of your great, undying love story. Yes, maybe we are so jealous that we are trying to separate the two of you. Fine. Even now, you don't have to trust me. Go with him. Let him give you a new life. Saying this, he turns around and walks away from the spot. Those words pierced Tripura's conscience deeper than any physical slap. That was the turning point. That was realization. That was the collapse of illusion. After 10 painful days, Harini was finally discharged from the hospital. Physically, she had begun to recover. But mentally, the wounds were still fresh. Vaishnavi stood beside her as they reached the hostel gate in an auto. When the vehicle stopped, Harini stepped down slowly. Her body was still weak. Even walking required effort. Every step felt heavier than the last. They entered the hostel premises. The familiar building stood before her, the same corridors, the same walls, the same staircase, but everything felt different now, as if the place itself knew what she had endured. She walked a few steps inside and suddenly felt drained. There was no strength left in her legs. She slowly lowered herself onto the sofa in the common area and sat there quietly. The warden noticed her. "Vaishnavi told me everything." "How are you feeling now?" she asked, her tone unusually soft. "I'm fine," Harini replied. But her voice was dry. Not angry. Not emotional. Just empty. The warden hesitated for a moment and then handed her a letter. "Tripura gave this for you," she said and walked away. Harini looked at the envelope silently. For a few seconds, she just held it. Then slowly, she opened it. The letter read, "I don't have the courage to stand before you and apologize. I am going back to my village. I am agreeing to the alliance my father chose. I am sorry for what happened. Thank you for what you did." It was short. Too short. Vaishnavi suddenly snatched the letter from Harini's hand. "What is this? After everything she did, just 'I am sorry' is enough? Because she brought that criminal out on bail, all this happened. I will see what kind of happiness she gets in her marriage." She burst out in anger. Harini gently interrupted her. "Vaishnavi, enough. What happened has already happened." But before the conversation could continue, footsteps approached. Sweta and her roommates stood there. There was hesitation in their faces. There was guilt. There was visible discomfort. They were not standing like before, confidently, judgmentally, sharply. They stood with lowered eyes. Sweta took a step forward. "Harini, we didn't know what actually happened. Without knowing the truth, we behaved harshly with you. Especially me. I spoke badly. I hurt you. We are really, really sorry." Her voice was not loud. It was not defensive. It carried shame. Harini looked at her calmly. She didn't react immediately. That silence made Sweta even more uncomfortable. Before, Sweta had fought loudly, argued confidently, supported Tripura blindly. She had accused Harini of jealousy, of manipulation, of breaking love. Now she could not even meet Harini's eyes. Harini slowly stood up. "That's all right. Don't be sorry," she said quietly and began to walk away. But Sweta quickly stopped her. "Please, wait. Don't stay in that room anymore. Come and stay with us. That day, things just happened in anger. Please come back." There was desperation in her voice now. But Harini turned slowly and looked straight into Sweta's eyes. "Please, Sweta. I am more hurt by you than by Tripura." Those words hit harder than any accusation. "You were her best friend. You fought with me for her. That means you are capable of standing for someone you care about. But before fighting, didn't you have the responsibility to check whether she was right or wrong?" Sweta's eyes filled instantly. Harini continued, her voice steady but emotional. "You all believed I did everything for Prakash. That I was trying to separate them. That I was jealous. Did any of you once stop and ask, what if Harini is telling the truth?" No one spoke. You all live together, but none of you try to understand. Living with 10 people who don't try to understand you is worse than living with one person who truly does. She paused. "I will stay with Vaishnavi." That statement created silence in the corridor. The roommates exchanged guilty glances. Sweta stepped forward again, almost pleading now. "Please, Harini, we are already ashamed of what we did. Don't make us feel worse by rejecting us. Give us one chance." There was no ego in her voice anymore, only remorse. Harini looked at Vaishnavi. "Fine. I have no objection. If Vaishnavi agrees, I will come." All eyes turned to Vaishnavi. She looked at Sweta and the others. She could see the change in them. This wasn't fake sympathy. This wasn't peer pressure. It was realization. Vaishnavi slowly nodded. "Okay." Relief spread across their faces instantly. Without being told, they themselves carried Harini's belongings. They arranged her bed neatly. They cleaned the room. They spoke softly, carefully. From that day onward, something had changed. They treated her not just as a roommate, but with respect. Not out of pity, but out of realization. Sweta, especially, behaved differently. She no longer jumped to conclusions. She listened more, spoke less, observed more. Because guilt, when genuine, matures a person. Slowly, very slowly, Harini began to smile again. She laughed occasionally. She joined conversations. She stepped out without fear. But no matter how happy she tried to be, in every beautiful moment of her day, one face would quietly appear in her heart. Mahadev, the man who never asked for recognition, the man who never used her weakness to make himself powerful, the man who saved her life and then stepped back as if it was nothing. And somewhere along the way, her gratitude was no longer just gratitude. It was becoming something softer, something warmer, something she was afraid to name. For days, Harini had been wanting to speak to him, not just to say thank you, but to look into his eyes and tell him how much his presence meant to her. That unsaid emotion had been resting heavily in her heart. And then, one day, while walking to college, she saw him coming from the opposite side. The moment her eyes found him, her face lit up, not out of courtesy, but out of genuine happiness. "Hello, Mahadev," she said, her voice carrying a warmth she didn't even try to hide. Mahadev smiled too, and there was a softness in his expression. "Hi, Harini. It's been such a long time since we met, hasn't it?" he said gently. For a second, neither of them looked away. Harini gathered courage. "I really wanted to thank you. Because of you, 2 girls' lives are safe today. One is mine, and the other is Tripura's. If you hadn't been there that day..." Her voice trembled slightly, not out of fear this time, but because the memory reminded her how close she had come to losing everything. Mahadev immediately stopped her softly. "Let's not go back to that, Harini. It was a bad memory. What matters is you're safe now. You're okay, right? Have you settled down?" There was genuine concern in his voice. "And your hand? The wound hasn't healed yet." Harini looked at her injured hand and gave a faint smile. "No, it was a very deep cut. The doctors said it will take time." For a moment, Mahadev's calm face changed. His jaw tightened. "Those rascals," he said under his breath. "Those rascals. Do you know something?" Mahadev said, his voice firm. "The court has sentenced them to lifetime rigorous imprisonment." "Really?" Harini asked, her eyes widening in surprise. "Yes." A sense of relief passed over her face. "That is truly good news," she said with conviction. "People like that deserve punishment. Only then will girls be able to move around safely." Mahadev looked at her seriously, not just as an officer, but as someone who genuinely cared. "First, you take care of yourself, Harini. Traveling alone at night isn't safe at all. These days are not good. From Sitaful Mandi to Tarnaka, it's not a long distance, but since you're not local, you may not know the areas properly." He paused for a moment. "I'll arrange 2 constables in your lane. They'll act as escorts for all of you, especially for you." Harini listened quietly. There was gratitude in her eyes, but something more than that too. "Thank you, Mahadev," she said softly. "Can you do me one more favor?" He looked at her gently. "Tell me. Start coming to the park again. You stopped coming because of me, and that makes me feel very bad. Let's meet like before. Let's talk like we used to. I won't have any problem from the warden now. Recently, she has been very kind to me. You'll come, right?" Mahadev studied her face carefully. "Every time I've seen you," he said slowly, "your eyes carried worry, pain, tension. But today, this is the first time I'm seeing you truly happy." A small smile appeared on his face. "All right. I'll definitely come. Right now I'm on duty. We'll meet later. I'll surely come in the evening." And, from that day onward, Mahadev, Harini, and Vaishnavi began meeting regularly. Sometimes at the park, sometimes elsewhere. Those meetings slowly became a part of their daily lives, simple conversations, shared smiles, comfortable silences. As days passed, the friendship between Mahadev and Harini grew deeper. That friendship slowly matured into love. They both loved each other deeply, yet neither of them had the courage to confess. Each one hid their feelings, pretending not to know, playing an unspoken game of hide-and-seek with their own hearts. A year and a half passed like this. One day, Mahadev noticed that Harini looked disturbed. "Why do you look so worried?" he asked gently. "There's nothing," she paused. "I'll be leaving for Chennai in 10 days. I'll miss all of you, especially you and Vaishnavi." But the real reason for her sadness was something else. The days were slipping away. Only 10 days remained. Mahadev still hadn't confessed his love. She didn't have the courage to propose to him herself. She kept waiting, hoping that at least before she left, he would finally say that he loved her. Mahadev was quiet for a moment. "I don't know what to say. The only true friend I have is leaving. Actually, I'm going to Chennai as well on official work. Why don't we travel together?" Time passed quickly. The day finally arrived when Harini had to leave for Chennai again. At the railway station, "Mahadev, take good care of Harini. Stay with her until she gets into the auto safely," Vaishnavi instructed seriously. Then turning to Harini, she added, "And you, don't trust strangers unnecessarily. Call us once you reach home." Suddenly, overwhelmed with emotion, Harini hugged Vaishnavi tightly and burst into tears. "Hey, what happened? Why are you crying?" Vaishnavi asked, startled and concerned. "You were so supportive during my difficult times," Harini said through tears. "Whatever I went through, you stood by me and experienced it with me. I'm going to miss a good friend like you so much." Saying that, she broke down again. Vaishnavi looked at her with affection and gently kissed her on the forehead. "You really look like a silly girl right now," she said softly. "Go carefully and come back safely. Mahadev, by the time you return to Hyderabad, I'll probably be in my hometown. I'll miss you both. And please, take good care of Harini." Her voice trembled as she tried to hold back her tears. Without waiting any longer, she turned and walked away, unable to trust herself to stay any further. The train finally reached Chennai station. As they stood there, Mahadev gathered all his courage. He had been holding these words inside for far too long. "Harini, there's something I need to tell you. I don't know why, but I just don't have the courage to say it. But if I don't say it now, I feel like I won't be able to live with myself. I am in love with you. I love you." He said it in one breath, as if afraid the courage might leave him halfway. Harini looked at him and simply said, "Thank you, Mahadev." He frowned slightly. "This is not a compliment, Harini. I truly love you. If you agree, I am ready to marry you." Harini smiled, her eyes soft. "I didn't say thank you for that reason. I've been waiting for you to say this for the past 1 year. At least now you finally said it, so thank you for that. I like you too. I love you too, Mahadev." For a moment, Mahadev could not believe what he had just heard. The words echoed in his mind. His happiness had no limits. It felt as if he had won the entire world in that single moment. His eyes filled with tears without him realizing. Seeing that, Harini asked in confusion, "Hey, what happened?" He took a deep breath. "Honestly, in no way am I greater than you. You are the daughter of a wing commander. I am only an ACP. For your beauty, your status, there would be thousands of well-settled, deserving men ready. And yet, you are saying you love me." He couldn't finish his sentence. Harini gently interrupted him. "Maybe in my life, I might meet men who are like gold, Mahadev. But I will never find someone like you. The very first time I saw you, I felt something move inside me. At that time, I didn't understand what it was. Whenever I thought about you, there was this strange happiness in my heart. I didn't even know who you were or what you did. And that's why, whenever your thoughts came to me, I tried to distract myself. But no matter how much I tried, your thoughts kept coming back. Slowly. I understood. It was love. If I am standing here today, in front of you, it's because of you. If you hadn't risked your life that day to save mine, I don't even know what would have happened to me. But you never once used that to make me feel small. You never made me feel indebted. I like your goodness. I like your character. I like you completely, Mahadev. I don't think I can say anything more than this." For a moment, there was silence. Mahadev gently held her hand and pulled her closer. Overwhelmed with emotion, He kissed her softly on her lips. They stayed like that for a quiet second, absorbing the truth of what had just begun between them. After a while, Mahadev smiled slightly. So, what's the next plan? Harini looked at him calmly, clear, steady. Next, you tell your family about me. I will tell my family about you. Everyone should agree. Only then can we continue this relationship happily. Otherwise, I don't want to love where your name is saved in my phone under some girl's name, where I have to go into another room just to talk to you, or chat secretly for hours without our parents knowing. I don't like deceiving parents. I want everyone's approval. I want everyone's blessings. Mahadev nodded. You're right. You convince your father first. That's the biggest deal. Convincing my parents won't be difficult. They will definitely accept a girl like you. Harini smiled confidently. My father will also accept you without any doubt, Mahadev. Today, I'm very happy. After 1.5 years, I'm finally going to meet my parents. And today, you confessed your love. I think from now on, everything will remain this happy. I feel like my entire life will be full of happy days. She paused and looked at him warmly. You remember, right? I'll call you after 1 week. With that, she left from there, carrying hope, love, and quiet dreams for the future. The sound of the calling bell echoed through the house. Gayatri opened the door. The moment Harini saw her mother after such a long time, all the restraint she had been holding inside dissolved. With sudden joy, she rushed forward and wrapped her arms tightly around her. My sweetie mother. She breathed, clinging to her like a child who had returned home after years. Gayatri stiffened slightly. You came from outside, roaming here and there, and without even taking a bath you're falling on me like this? Go take a bath first, she scolded. Harini took those words lightly, assuming it was the usual tone of affection wrapped in complaint. Okay, I'll go. But first tell me what's happening. How did you both manage all these 1.5 years without me? She asked playfully. Can't you understand when I say it once? Go and take a bath. Gayatri snapped more sharply this time. Harini paused for a second, slightly startled by the firmness in her mother's voice. But she quickly brushed it aside. Fine, fine. I'm going, she said with a small smile, trying to keep the mood light. She went to bathe. After finishing, she came out feeling refreshed, her heart still full of excitement at being home. Prasad Rao was there in the hall. Her face brightened immediately.